Let's get into it. Sold Not For Sale podcast. Coach Colin here. Daniel Penny found not guilty. This man is a hero in many, many people's eyes. There was a woman, child, and other people on a subway cart being threatened by this wild man who said he was going to kill everyone. Daniel Penny put him in a chokehold. He wanted to restrain him until the authorities came. And sadly, Jordan Neely, who the man was, he passed away. Daniel Penny should not have been charged in many people's eyes. He was defending people. This person was one of many wildly crazy people that New York just allows to run absolute wild through the streets, assaulting people. And a lot of people didn't want to see Daniel Penny, myself included, get charged with murder and spend the rest of his life in jail. We're going to have Joe Rogan talk a little bit about Daniel Penny, and then I'm just going to take an information dump with you guys, okay? All right? Pull down those tinfoil Speedos. We're doing an information dump right now. I'm going to show you everything about Daniel Penny, but then also we're going to get into the fact that Black Lives Matter has appeared and they're trying to start a race riot. Big surprise there. Am I right? Let's get into the first clip.
Oh, the death on the subway there.
Well,
how did
I'm hearing all these different stories in that.
Yeah, well,
did the guy get choked to death? Is that what happened?
This is what happened. And
the guy was threatening people on a train.
The guy, I don't know, there was a Marine, and he put him in a chokehold. I don't know how long he held it for. I don't know how well he's trained.
Never seen the
video. So this is the thing.
Yeah.
The people at home, when they put a chokehold on, when you're doing it correctly, it stops the carotid arteries. I know we all know this, guys. But it stops the blood flow. It doesn't stop the air. But if you stop the blood flow for 15 minutes, the motherfucker is not coming back.
Yeah.
So I don't know what happened, how long he kept it on and whatnot. But the guy who did have the chokehold on him had a arrest warrant out for punching a 60-something-year-old lady in the face.
Dude, he had like 40-something.
Oh, he had 40-something arrests. No, this wasn't your... upstanding citizen.
Look, there were 3 other people involved that were holding him, when this guy tried to restrain him too. So everybody felt threatened.
Well, this was what was weird. It's like they made it a race thing too.
Yeah,
come on.
that's what it was.
The problem was to do that, they had to omit the fact that the other guy helping him was black.
Yep.
So there's a black guy that's helping him hold him down, and the guy's got his arm around this dude.
And most of the people on the subway came out in defense of this guy, said, thank you and for helping to protect him.
You always got to make a narrative of you don't know what's the truth unless you were there.
There's also a problem with people that are that f***ed up. Like that guy might have been high as on fentanyl. Yeah. He might have been ready to die anyway. And if you get in a scramble with that dude, and then all of a sudden you got him in a headlock, you might have a heart attack and die.
Well, and I kind of feel bad for the dude because I know if it was me, I'm choking him out.
Yeah.
And I don't care.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
100%. It's your life. That's the fact that that guy might go to jail for that
is a joke.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's kind of scary.
So that was what everybody was looking at. And Joe Rogan brings up a great point, which I want you to remember as you're listening to all these Black Lives Matter people speaking out about Daniel Penny and how treacherous he is and how racist and rigged the system is. I want you to remember that. Now let's just get a more newsworthy clip going of what happened with Daniel Penny. Let's jump into it.
Breaking news. The jury has reached a unanimous verdict in the case of Daniel Penny. He's been found not guilty on the charge of criminally negligent homicide. Now remember what was at stake here. The jury could not agree on manslaughter. They failed to agree twice. The judge gave them another bite at the apple on this lesser charge, negligent. They now say not guilty. What does this mean? Let's first go to reporter CB Cotton, who's outside the courthouse, to find out how this has played out. Now, I hear an immediate melee of protesters, CB.
Hi, Harry. Harris, that's right. Protesters are pretty upset. There's a large crowd of them out here next to me. You can hear them rattling the police barricades, saying no justice, no peace. And what they're yelling now follows a series of threats that they hurled earlier as the defense walked in with their client, Daniel Penny, telling the defense team that Daniel Penny can have no peace here in New York if he's found not guilty on this lesser charge, criminally negligent homicide. And from what I can hear right now, they're repeating those threats. They are very angry. Harris, I also want to mention there were a couple people here this morning to support Daniel Penny, but the anti-Penny crowd far outweighs them, and they seem pretty upset. We're seeing police officers come out here in droves to try to keep the two groups separated for now. But I'm looking at our notes from the courtroom, and it seems like this is the first time we've seen some real emotion from Daniel Penny. His attorneys told me this morning that this trial has understandably taken a toll on him. He's been spending time with family and friends to try to stay calm. And our courtroom reporter telling me for the first time she sees him visibly smile, now hearing that jurors have decided he is not guilty of criminally negligent homicide. Harris, are you with me?
Yes, CB, thank you. Sorry about that. And we've lost our picture for a second there. Appreciate your reporting. We'll come back to you as the news warrants. That is huge, what CB Cotton was just reporting there. That emotion also that she talked about, color inside the courtroom, the first time perhaps that Daniel Penny has had any sort of noticeable reaction. And of course, when a jury finds you not guilty, that is very different than being divided and sending this case again potentially for a retrial. This is significant, not just for Daniel Penny, not just for subway riders who may have been on that jury who found a way through all of the legal wranglings, it would seem, by what we know as a soft on crime DA who does not hand out the adjudication evenly, we've seen from Alvin Bragg. So this is really important. I want to bring in now Jonathan Turley, Fox News contributor, constitutional law attorney, and George Washington University law professor.
Now, I just wanted to play that just so you guys know the verdict and everything, and the protesters, which again are the Black Lives Matter. There is a co-founder of Black Lives Matter Greater New York. I believe that's what she's designated herself as. Now, Black Lives Matter, that's how it works, right? Like, black people right now, hard paying rent, hard making ends meet, maybe need food, maybe need, some kind of assistance with getting into a food bank or something, finding them. Black Lives Matter, nowhere to be found. Drugged out guy on a subway says that he's going to kill everybody, and a white guy by mistake ends up putting him in a chokehold until he passes away. Black Lives Matter is all over it. I'm telling you, man, Black Lives Matter is the embodiment of Barack Obama. They are only for division. That's all they're worried about. That's all they're concerned about. That's all they're trying to pull off. Pierce Morgan says, breaking, Daniel Penny is cleared. Justice for a hero. Shocking that this ever came to court. A lot of people feel that way. Charlie Kirk, breaking news. Marine hero. Daniel Penny has been found not guilty. He has been acquitted. I expect this from Charlie Kirk for sure. He's been following the case very closely. But from Pierce Morgan to be out front like that, a lot of people are just feeling it to be okay to be conservative now that Trump is back in office. They're letting the colors fly, and I love it. That's how it should be. Pierce Morgan, I feel like 2 years ago, Pierce Morgan may not have said something like that. 3 years ago, I feel like maybe he wouldn't say something like that. Charlie Kirk again, Daniel Penny is a hero. He stepped in to protect women and children from a violent madman with multiple felonies who was threatening to kill innocent bystanders. Free Daniel Penny. This is a little bit of Daniel Penny actually explaining what happened that day, and then I have another clip of him explaining some more.
Penny told the pair of detectives he was on his way to the gym after leaving class at City Tech from the J Street Metro Tech station in Brooklyn. At the 2nd Avenue stop, he said Neely got on, started to yell and threaten passengers.
Some guy came in, he's like, whipped his jacket off, and he's like, I'm going to kill everybody.
Several witnesses took the stand, including NYPD Detective Brian McCarthy, who interviewed Penny. McCarthy testified he didn't tell Penny that Neely had died during that 5th Precinct interrogation. And when Penny was questioned about why he decided to get involved in the first place, he said,
I'm not a confrontational guy. Like in the Marine Corps, I felt the need to step in. Yeah. There's women and children on the train.
Did you feel like someone's life was in danger?
100%.
Penny.
There you go. That was Penny talking a little bit about it. Again, as you heard in the clip, this was before he knew that Jordan Neely passed away. I guess they wanted that type of, they wanted him to speak the way he would just usually speak, not have him all shaken up about the whole thing, not have him scared. And hearing that story without him even knowing, him just thinking that Jordan Neely's in a jail cell somewhere or maybe in a hospital or something like that. And that's what he said. I tend to believe him, and also coupled with how many bystanders were there, the women and children who actually thanked him and do call him a hero. I would kind of go by what they say as well, but the fact that Jordan Neely was black, well, that just does it. That just does it. You're going to hear a dumb argument that if he was white, that Daniel Penny would be going to jail, and I really don't understand that argument. I thought there was no end to the white man's power. The white man will be brought down by another white. Are you kidding me? They're all powerful, all privileged. Why would he go down if the guy was white? He would walk away. Isn't that how it always works? And it's funny because they're acting like he's just walked away through this whole thing. It's like, this has been a terrible, terrible moment in this guy's life because he decided to stand up for innocent bystanders. Let's hear a little bit more about Daniel Penny talking about what happened that day.
I was scared for myself, but I looked around. I saw women and children. He was yelling in their faces, saying these threats. I couldn't just sit still. Some people say that I was holding on to Mr. Neely for 15 minutes. This is not true. I mean, between stops is only a couple minutes. So the whole interaction lasted less than 5 minutes. Some people say I was trying to choke him to death, which is also not true. I was trying to restrain him. You can see in the video, there's a clear rise and fall of his chest, indicating that he's breathing. I'm trying to restrain him from him being able to carry out the threats. And then some people say that this was about race, which is absolutely ridiculous. I didn't see a black man threatening passengers. I saw a man threatening passengers, a lot of whom were people of color. The man who helped restrain Mr. Neely was a person of color. And then a few days after the incident, I read in the papers that a woman of color came out and called me a hero. I don't believe that I'm a hero, but she was one of those people that I was trying to protect.
Man, I like that he just pointed that out. The guy that was helping him was black. People on the subway was black. I mean, this guy's in New York and he's on the subway. He's surrounded by black people. Why didn't any of these black people step in and stop this white injustice? It's because they knew the guy he was subduing was crazy. He's one of those guys, and I don't know why I shouldn't say I don't know why they let these people. I guess they should help these people. But the people who get on the subway or you're on the street and they're just screaming and you're just like, oh, you just can't come near me. That's all. I got my headphones in. I'll just turn it up a little bit so I don't hear the guy. No eye contact. It was one of those guys. And he's like, okay, I'm not going to let this guy's saying he's going to kill people. And he's gesturing at people and doing this and that, and they're stuck in the subway car with the guy. He's like, no, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to put the guy down for a couple of stops. Hopefully when the doors open, somebody will yell for the police because they're always around on the subway, and they'll run in and they'll take the guy. That's what he wanted to do, obviously. And you know what? I will say more people need to do stuff like that. Not take someone's life, of course not. But step in to a degree when you see guys like that doing things like that. Just belligerently screaming at people. They want money. If you don't give them money, they're swearing at you. They're going to the next person. It's just wild. I don't get why that's allowed. I guess it's just a freedom thing. They should be allowed. I don't know. I really don't understand that. They're drug addicts. They're crazy people. They're homeless. They're hungry. They got nothing to lose. It's like, it just gets so iffy. And it's like, thank God. How many of you would be like, I hope somebody, haven't you thought that? I hope someone stops this. One of these homeless guys, you're just like, one person. You know? How many times have you been like, oh, I wish somebody put this guy in a chokehold so he doesn't touch me. I'm not saying nobody wants loss of life, but I'm saying the thought comes where you're like, I don't want to do it. He's dirty. He's homeless. I'm not saying it because he's black. Come on, I'm black. I know I sound white to anyone who's listening, but I'm black. You don't want to do it, but you want someone to do it. And then someone does it, and they almost go to jail. It's crazy. Anyway, Black Lives Matter stepped in. I had to balance it out because what you're about to hear is some very anti-white Black Lives Matter stuff. So I had to even it out with what I just did there because it's coming. Listen to this.
Racism is still alive and kicking in America. There's no other way to view this. Everyone has looked at the case, and those among you who say that Daniel Penny is innocent have racism and bias in your heart. If you look at the facts of this case, then you understand that Daniel Penny is guilty. But today, white supremacy got another victory. Today, the KKK, the Klansmen, the evil in America got another victory. They got that top charge dismissed. America shall continue to America and shall continue to place second-class status on black people.
Racism. This is absolutely just so stuck in 1970. Like this guy prays he was an adult in 1979. That's all he wants. He just wants to go back to the Black Panther times where it was like really like that, what he's saying. America is going to continue to America as I stand here in my expensive jacket with a microphone in front of me with all you white people listening to me and respecting me. Oh God, America, will you ever learn? Will you ever learn? Oh my gosh. This is him day one. Here's another clip of him day one. Then I'll show you the clip from day two. Jeez, can't wait till you guys see that.
Pick. Call him a hero. How? Would Daniel Penny be a hero if Jordan Neely was white? No. He'd be a man that went too far. But that's America. Black lives do not matter to you. They didn't matter in the 2000s. They didn't matter in the 50s and 60s. They didn't matter in the 1800s. Black lives do not matter in America. Black people don't mean anything to white America.
It's funny when they get to this point, like someone in the Klan would say the same thing as this guy. Black people don't mean anything. They don't mean nothing in white America. Like, are you a part of the Klan? Are you a white supremacist? What is this? What side are you on right now as you're saying all this? Absolutely crazy. It's ridiculous. And again, that's that argument. If the guy was white that ended up getting choked out, he'd be seen as guilty. He went too far. I don't see how. I mean, if white people are all powerful, I'm sure Daniel Penny would have gotten through it just as well. He would have said, brothers, white brothers and sisters, I slain a white man. It's fine. My whiteness will absolve me. Am I not correct? And they all would have been like, yes. They all would have bowed. They would have gotten him some money. You know? They would have gave him some money like he was an illegal immigrant. They would have gave him some money on a debit card. Here you go, big guy. Hey, get on out of here. And then Daniel Penny would have flown away with his wings. Because white people are angelic, you know? Just can do no wrong. Can do no wrong in America. Says the black guy yelling at a crowd of white people with no consequences. It's just it's so good that they come out now. They come out now when the drug addict dies. Oh, it's so nice. So many families need Black Lives Matter. All the money you guys got. Oh, so many millions you guys got. Oh, I haven't heard one story about you guys getting any family rent or paying off mortgages. You got hundreds of millions of dollars. You could have paid off mortgages all over the city. New York, Philadelphia. They could have cleaned up Philadelphia. They could have... Man, a lot of people, a lot of young people have started using the word grifter. And they don't know what it is. Anytime they see something they don't like, they're like, oh, this guy's a grifter. They have no idea what a grifter is. That, what you just saw on the screen, that guy, this guy is a grifter. This is a grift. When you only come out so you can sow division, when you only come out to rile people up and get them into their emotions so you can seize the opportunity to take more power in the city, that is a grifter. The evilest kind. This is him day 2. Oh, now he's ready. Now he's really. You thought that was something that he just had to say. Now he's serious.
We need some black vigilantes.
That's right.
People want to jump up and choke us and kill us for being loud. How about we do the same when they attempt to oppress us?
Right.
I'm tired. We need
some black vigilantes. How about we do the same when they try to oppress us? Are you talking about violence? I thought violence was the problem. Oh, it is. It is. It's only the problem when white people do it. See, if we black people do it, it's like, hey, you're racist. hey, that's racist. Oh man, just straight up trying to start a riot. Just using this opportunity, trying to leave Trump with some real mess to clean up. I'm just saying, listen, I put the tinfoil Speedo on before I start the video. You get yours on now. I'm just saying that these people tend to do things that the Democrats can't be seen doing and saying. And right now they're trying to rile people up in the streets. We're what, less than 60 days from Trump taking office, and right now they're trying to start this whole thing. What, like, we're trying to leave Trump things to clean up in Ukraine. They're trying to leave Trump things to clean up in the Middle East. They're trying to leave him things to clean up in the streets of New York here. They're just trying to leave him terrible messes to clean up. And I'm telling you, man, Rules for Radicals, it's a tactic that they use, because what he's going to have to do to clean these things up, if this goes as far as they're trying to make it go, what he has to do to clean things up is going to make him look bad. That's what they hope. It's a vile game that these people play. I'm telling you, man. But with all respect, this is the gentleman's dad, but I am going to go on him. I'm going to go in on him as well. Sorry. That's the podcast.
I just want to say, I miss my son. My son didn't have to go through this. I didn't have to go through this either. It hurts. Really, really hurts. What are we going to do, people? What's going to happen to us now? I had enough of this. The system is rigged. Mm-hmm. Come on, people. Let's do something about this.
Let's do something about it. Too often, we have Eric Garner's mother here.
They got Eric Garner's mother there. They got this guy's father there. They are really trying. This woman's one of the people. She's the co-founder of Black Lives Matter Greater New York. This gentleman just looks awfully mean. You know, it's just, they're trying to really rile people up right now. And I'm just going to say this, you know, I mean, nobody wants to see a kid pass away. And it's so sad for this gentleman to have to bury his son. That is something that nobody wants to have to do. But what he is saying right now in the rhetoric, what are you trying to say? It's just crazy, this whole thing. And I'm telling you, they operate just like Obama. that speech that Obama just gave, where he's like, we got to learn to work together, and the other side might stack the deck and rig elections, and you're like, wait, what? What did you just say? Oh yeah, but we got to work together and have ideas work out. And it's like, oh man, really? That's the same thing this guy's doing. You want safe streets. You want to be safe, but what are we going to do about this? What do you mean? What are you trying to get people to do? What are you hoping comes when you say come on people? What are you hoping happens? Shouldn't you be saying come on justice system? But you're saying come on people. What do you want people to do in the streets? And they already have protesters. You can hear them in the background. I don't know, man. I despise, and I don't care. Listen, again, I already gave the condolences. I despise anybody who wants people in the streets doing things that they don't have the guts to do, that they don't want to be seen doing themselves, that they don't want to get put in the line of danger. See, that's where Daniel Penny's a little different than these people. It's not in the color of his skin. It's that when he saw something, he didn't try and rile up someone else. See, what BLM does is they would have turned to another black person on the subway cart and tried to rile them up to go and do something. Daniel Penny decided, I'm going to go do it myself. I'm just going to handle this because I don't see anybody else doing it. They're the exact opposite. How much of that money did she get? This co-founder lady. How much money does she get, I wonder? You know what I mean? Always want to rile people up. There's protesters just down the street. Why aren't you standing with them? Because they get their soapbox. They get to say what they want to say. Then they get to leave. Anyway, let's listen to what she has to say.
Not to be racist, because the racist spoke loud and clear. John McCain's daughter, she had something to say. I think she incited a riot for the right. Phil Mickelson, he had something to say. Kid Rock donated $3 million. And if you look on social media, if you look at the hatred spewed across against us, against black people, against a man who was sick, because when there's a crisis of drugs in America, I'm sorry, it's only a crisis when it's a white person, an opioid crisis. Jordan was labeled a drug addict and labeled a crackhead. The only crime that Jordan nearly was guilty of was the color of his skin.
Come on.
But luckily for Daniel Penny, his skin was not like Jordan's, because you honestly wouldn't have seen our face. The NYPD would have arrested him after 3 hours. The justice system would have found him guilty. And shame on this jury. Because to be real, they didn't even try. Once the lesser charge was removed, they came back an hour later and said it was deadlock. Less than an hour and 20 minutes later, they said not guilty. These wonderful white people, I hope they celebrate their Christmas while the Neely family is praying and asking God for comfort. Goddamn them and goddamn America.
To applause, she walks off. Goddamn America. How about that? Someone should take this cross off this guy's neck. It's just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Again, this is a co-founder of BLM, so of course she's going to say all these things. Of course she's going to make it all about the color of skin. No chance that the jury just decided that Daniel Penny shouldn't be charged. They had trouble deciding at first, and then they came to their decision, and then they became racist. It's very interesting the way that works. What would they all be if they, since America just does this and this is America, what would they all be if they decided that Daniel Penny should go to jail? See, that's the thing. I'm not even going to get into a whole Marxist conversation, but that's what they do. They keep making demands, and they make demands where nothing can be done. So, and if there could be something done, they would make more demands still. They would just keep going. They would say, oh, well, this, how about that person? Well, release everyone from jail. Oh my God, you actually did that? Give us all $1 billion each. Give us this. Move out of the country. All you guys go back to England. Like, they would just keep making demands. It wouldn't stop. It just wouldn't stop. But I just wanted to show you guys that. Man, it's a great situation for Daniel Penny. And again, no one wants to see this guy pass away, just Jordan Neely, but he was not acting proper in that situation. He was threatening to kill people. And he was someone who did drugs. And, you know, again, I will go back to the father really quick. You know, you can't control your kids, especially when they're grown people. But your son, the person you raised, did get to that point. And that's the thing about these people when they're trying to incite these race riot type of things. They're not going to question the father. They're not going to say, how did you let it get to this point? They're not going to say, how come you didn't house and feed your son, even though he was old enough? Why didn't you bring him back home? Why didn't you try to get him into some kind of facility? They're not going to say that about him. They're not even going to throw it over to Bragg, Alvin Bragg, and say, hey, if this guy has multiple felonies, why isn't he in jail? You know, maybe if he was in jail, he'd have a chance to straighten out. They're just going to circumvent, push all that aside. Where's the guilty white person? Okay, Daniel Penny, done. There it is. I'm very glad that this guy didn't go to jail. You know, I couldn't possibly imagine what that would be like to be faced with something like that and to defend people, defend citizens, defend people of color, and then have people of color tell you that you're racist and that you're white supremacist and that they said the KKK won a victory today. Like, it's just such wildly ridiculous rhetoric. So crazy. And the one guy said, if anyone believes that he's innocent, they have racism in their heart. See, that's the thing about that. With the new MAGA party, with how MAGA has become this unity party, you can't get away with that anymore. Because there's so many black people that are like, oh, yeah, no, that guy shouldn't be in jail. There's so many Hispanic people, black people. You can't just pull that anymore. Well, if we don't get our way, it's because everybody who's involved is racist. It's like, this doesn't work anymore, man. This doesn't work anymore. I'm so glad that people are starting to see through stuff like this. And if you're not, you know, like, take this opportunity to understand that this stuff needs to stop, you know, and don't believe these people. Those right there, those people are the actual grifters. Just so you know, a lot of people using the term grifter. These people right here. These people who are doing this, those are the real grifters. Don't get it twisted. Anyways, guys, like, subscribe, turn on the notifications, helps the channel tremendously. And other than that, I'm out.